It's cool, isn't it, what we're all doing? Being live on Facebook. Hello, fans. Do you know anything about I'm Every Woman? Stay online. Join us or look below. Sorry. Anu, tell me to be quiet.
Anu, we can't hear you.
I said it's your show.
Now,
Oh, yeah, we can hear you now.
Hi, everybody. So, Anya, over to you. Why don't you introduce what are we doing today? And welcome, everybody. I am so excited and a little nervous, just like I was the first time. And I have no idea why. But it's nice to say that you're vulnerable today and that you're feeling a little nervous because that's what this whole platform is about, sharing and caring. Okay, Anya, over to you.
Thank you. And we admit Susan is back again. And I will hand over to Claudia, who will give a little introduction of how our book came along and all what belongs to it. And Astrid, you so nicely said it was on the 13th of May. Fantastic. Hello, Kanchan. Nice to see you. And over to you, Claudia.
Well, a very, very, very precious thank you to you, Anya, and to you, Anu.
Thank you.
And to all the goddesses, the co-authors of I'm Every Woman. We had an incredible, incredible time getting to this point of today. We wrote a book during a pandemic where we were told to something like stay at home, lockdowns, words we never have come across in our lives. We held space for each other whilst we wrote. And then we had the great fortune to actually articulate what we wrote through the queen of questions, a la Anu. So it has been a very powerful experience on many levels, but I would like to share with you how this all began, because I'm sure you may think, to write a book as one person, i.e. one author, many start and never finish. And to actually write a book with 15 authors and finishing it from the day of conception, and I know the conception date was much further than the actual date I'm aware of, to the date we launched it, we had just a little bit more than 9 months. Now, normally, we can't even imagine to finish a book within a year, and we made it 15 people in just under 10 months. It has a fantastic and a very, very precious story. Back in March, I was overwhelmed and overrun by something called a pandemic and something called a global pandemic. I did not know what it was. I couldn't understand. And when I then had to find out that the planes were grounded, I couldn't get my head around it. So I decided, I'm sure I'm not the only person who can't make sense of the world out there. And I sent an email to my close contacts and I asked, would you be interested to have a coffee together and, talk about what's happening? And that was the start of the coffee morning. And as we met every Friday, a group of more than 20 people, every Friday, we really got to know each other deeply. And like Anu was saying, it came from a place of deep sharing, a place from vulnerability. We tapped truly in that beautiful collective space. It's an experience. One can't really share it. One has to really experience it. And it happened one morning in my meditation that I was given a thought of this. There is a book in these stories by us coming together. And I put forward the idea with a hope, and I say this with a hope that my idea would be rejected, but it wasn't. In the contrary, it felt there was a great resonance. I had no idea how to do it, and the beautiful thing, what happened was that the stages of how this book came together unfolded by real divine allowing. And for the next couple of minutes, I want to share with you how a collaborative book project, actually, especially our one, came to actually having a physical experience or physical book, as well as an ebook. So we started off with Coffee Morning, started off with heartfelt conversations. And then we discovered that we individually had very deep experience and a lot of wisdom. So we came together back in July for a intention setting workshop, because it's very important before we embark on opening our souls. Essentially, we need to know why we do what we do, because we don't want to start something and then suddenly become confused why actually we are doing it. So we had a intention setting workshop, which was a beautiful experience. We were just over 20 people, and it allowed us to really connect to the purpose of writing it. And we established our own purpose and a collective purpose. And I want to concentrate the next couple of minutes on the collective purpose. We really felt into, if we are able to transcend our own vulnerability and really own our own story, our life, we may give others, other women, other men, the courage to connect to their strength and courage. So the book was born. We discovered many talents. We have a creative director in our co-authorship. Her name is Karin Mlaka. Karin has created, can you wave, Karin? This is our creative director. Anu, can you give me sharing capability?
Yes. Just give me a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Karin has created a theme of coffee mugs. And I want to share one example. So, that's the wrong one. Sorry, that's the wrong share. I share again. This should be the right share now. That's strange. I pressed on the right image, but it's not happening. Anyway, not to worry. So every chapter has got a coffee mug with individual words flying in. And I wish I prepared it. I don't know what happened. Anyway, so we had that element. We were also introduced to an incredible woman who was our editor. She really helped us go deep into our story, Mary Allen. And Mary Allen also is the creative director, the second one, who created our front cover, which you can see our hats. So we had various aspects, but what was actually the most important of all of that was how we as 15 women held space for ourselves. We wrote from the heart. We went through our own emotional roller coaster, embracing our experience and creating deeper meaning from it, and allowed ourselves to really be honest. And the honesty of our chapters is that what resonates with people and what gives others the permission to write their own story. So it was writing was healing, writing is caring, writing is sharing, and writing is a transformational process. We also had a beautiful woman from India who designed the interior of our book, Vivishana. We had, of course, a proofreader who did the dots. We individually checked ourselves. So there were a lot of process involved. But the most beautiful and the most cherishing aspect was that strong, I call it sisterhood by heart. We had a marketing committee meeting and we met every 2 weeks, sometimes every week. And thanks again to the marketing team. And we really, sometimes we debated a sentence for a whole meeting because we want to get it. We wanted it to get it right in the sense to be as honest, but yet as professional as we could be. We are all professionals and we used our skills for the publication and the writing of the book. On the 13th of May, we all came together. We had a global book launch with over 200 people. It was heartwarming. And so the journey continues. We are a community of precious goddesses, as we call each other. And it's a deep love, a deep caring, and a deep knowing that we have an incredible power in our own selves for walking our path, which we all meant, our purpose, and sharing love, compassion, and wisdom with everybody who's ready to hear it. Anya, is that a good summary?
Thank you, Claudia. Yes, fantastic, fantastic. And then, after writing the book and it was out, what now? What do we do with it? And I met Anu. I was trying to remember when. Was it 2 years ago or 1 year ago? But I don't know Anu. I just met her on Zoom. I think it's 1.5 years or something like that. Could it be?
Yeah.
That we met. And I have a great esteem for Anu. She's a lady. Well, as I said, so many talents. And we already have Claudia and myself thinking about if you can host one of our Friday morning sessions and share your knowledge. And so I had the idea to call up Anu, and little did Anu know what she's getting into. And also Anu just said to me before we started the Zoom call, Anya, I feel there is a whole new life starting for me too. And Anu, tell us a little bit about your feelings of I Am Every Woman. You know what I want is to have a continuation in India. And so we really would like to have a book, I think in every continent would be nice. I started also working already on Africa. So I seem to get the difficult countries, get attracted by them. And I think it would be fabulous to have another volume for India. And every single author here who had an interview with you, they all came back and said, wow, we learned so much, so many new things. If I think of myself, you interviewed me, I think 3 times, Anu, in the last 2.5 years or 1.5 years. And every time something new comes up again. And this is a nice thing because, as I mentioned previously, is to write is one thing, but to talk about it is another thing. And it opens so many doors. So Anu, I would like you to share a little bit about the last 15 weeks we had together. And thank you for hosting all of this on your channel with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anya. And thank you to each and every one of you. I was nervous today because I for a minute thought, maybe I have forgotten what you've written. maybe I have to go back and read it again. And I spoke to Anya 3 hours before today's show and said, hey, what's the expectation of today? And I realized that the expectation was from me, not from you. So what did I learn? In Hindi we say, and I'm going to say it in Hindi because there are going to be people who watch it and I will translate it back. ये तो दीवानी है और ये क्या उसको बोलते हैं बेगानी शादी में अब्दुल्ला दीवाना. Meaning
Sharon,
Sharon is the only one who understood. I will repeat again. Begani shadi mein Abdullah Diwana. Begani shadi means in someone else's marriage. Abdullah Diwana, I am the Abdullah, actually Anu, who has lost her heart. It wasn't my marriage. It was yours. It wasn't my book. It was yours. But every chapter that I read, every story that touched my heart, or every story that I read made me realize I could read. So I've always felt, and let me say it like this, I've educated myself quite a bit. I've done my master's, my PhD, so it's not that I cannot read. But when I was growing up, my mom would say, read study books. You don't need to read, and she would call it novel. Don't read a novel. Don't read a book. And because she had a misconception in her head that this would distract me from my real mission. Well, you gave me the real mission in my hand. So when I was reading the book, so many ideas came into my mind, and so many of your lives touched me. I will start with Anya because I did, how do you say? When I first got to know her over 1.5 years back, her story inspired me. So I said, could you do an inspirational story for us? The second time she spoke about herself, it was because a friend of mine wanted her to speak. The third time it was because I am every woman in that she had written a story. But by now I knew her story upside down, inside out. And I wanted something new. And she was running away and saying, "Let's say more in my story. I don't want to say anything more." And I said, no, there's something in the story. Anya, with you, I discovered, and you inspire me so much because a woman can fly, a woman can get divorced in 2 days, a woman can run one business from another, a woman can stand up for herself, and she can then at the end say, I am every woman. Let me tell you, you're not every woman, and you are every woman. It's just that within a woman, we never look what strength she carries. I don't think you're aware of what kind of strength you carry within you. Because if that you were clear about it, you wouldn't pick up countries like India and Africa. Definitely not. If you, a country of contradictions, a country of love, a country of spirituality, a country of loudness and softness. And you touched my heart because I never thought a woman who's fair complexioned with golden hair would have anything to do with my country. Thank you so much for making me really believe that under my skin and with this skin and hair color, I still am every woman. And you are very much part of me and will always remain. Let me go over to Claudia because we had a small chat for the first time. And when I was talking to her, I didn't feel I was talking to her for the first time. I felt I'd met her a billion times before. Call it past lives, call it this life, call it future lives, I don't know. But just that intention of sitting with 15 women, letting them speak, guiding them, holding them, crying together, laughing together, taking everybody's temper tantrums, sometimes probably getting very angry with yourself and then with the others. you were truly, completely standing there and not standing there, because most of the people would want them to become very visible in this whole story. I saw you in parts and bits, and then I saw you today very loud, very beautifully when you expressed how you made the book come around. You taught me, and because you came to India, it felt we must have met somewhere again. Why would you have an India Connect, a Pondicherry Connect, a place that's very close to my heart? So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Anya. Thank you, Claudia. Because it's not easy to have a dream. Anya knows how to fly, you know how to hold, and it's the combination that creates anything. I feel something stirring deep inside me, and I'm going to now address a girl, a person here who I invited today, and that's Kanchan Todi. I invited her today because I asked her, would you be there for me, please, so that we can start writing a book for India? And she happily said yes. Yeah. I could have invited a lot of people, but I personally invited her because she's a girl with a golden heart. Some were broken, some were complete. But I love one of the authors who wrote that we are all broken vases. Who was that? I don't remember, but we all broken vases. Yes. There you go. There you go, Louisa. We are all broken vases. And the broken parts of us are filled by gold. And that's a Japanese technique. See, I remember I didn't go back to read anything today. I wanted it to be from the heart. Your story, Louisa, gave me strength because you endured hardships in your marriage for God knows how long. Never gave up on yourself, never gave up on your children, and never gave up on life. You make me believe life is possible. Kanchan makes me believe she wants to continue. I will come now to Sharon. Every person here was touching and healing a part of me. When I was sitting with Sharon, she was talking about how she comes back to India to touch India and go away.
Bindu.
Yes. And how a girl sitting in the background, who she was not supposed to ask any questions, made her get up and ask herself plenty of questions. In silence, they spoke to each other. And in silence, they understood each other. And in that silence, they moved their world. And in silence, you came to India. And in silence, you walked away. And in silence, your aunt was touching your life in many, many ways. In silence, she taught you so much more than any guru or Sufi could have ever taught you. So I, today, Sharon, acknowledge you. Along with that, I acknowledge your aunt, who has been the invisible, brilliant factor in your life, touching your life forever, ever and ever. I started my interviews with Suzanne. And she took me to a place of paranormal experiences, which I've been having all my life. And had no one to share it with, or my kids know it. And they kind of say, oh, my mom is like, how can she? Oh, we get scared. In reality today, if you ask me to watch violence or anything to do with ghosts or shadows, I wouldn't go near it. But I've seen enough and had enough experiences where I've just sat down and had my aha moments. When I was interviewing you, I was connecting with that part of myself, which wouldn't believe myself at all. There is a Hindi program that comes. It used to be during, I think, 15 years back. It used to be called Mano Ya Na Mano, which means believe or don't believe. And your story should have been there in Mano ya Na Mano, believe or don't believe. Thank you, Suzanne, for starting the chapter so beautifully, touching my life in a way that I could have never thought anybody could have touched my life. Thank you, because you were the beginning of me asking questions to anyone. And I've always felt, what is this brown girl doing in the white world? But somewhere, I've never known not so brown girl doing what in India either. And from here, I will go to Justin, because Justin was one person who spoke about her sexuality, and a topic that I love to speak about, a topic that touches so many people, a topic in silence, a topic that we don't ever want to talk about, a topic of non-acceptance, a taboo. I salute you. The grit, the consistency, the courage, the bravery, the love, and the healing. The amount of healing that you have gone through, connecting with forest and everything to do with nature, I became more and more aware that this is also possible. Thank you, Justine. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's all I have. And then I will go to Elodie, who made me get up from my chair. How can somebody be in a brace for so many years and still have a smile on their face? And here we were battling with COVID. Somebody had asked us to be in a house, not in a brace around our body. And we were cribbing. We all have a lot to learn from Elodie. I loved the way she smiled. I loved the way she carried herself. I loved what she taught me. No matter what brace you put around someone, they will always get out of that brace. There is always a hope, always a chance. Christine, with her dance at 6 years of age, and that 6 years of you taught my 6-year-old, never give up. When I was reading and looking at your heart condition, and it struck me, happiness is so important, and the decisions that you had taken in your life, I salute you for them. I salute you for them. And Karen, you standing at the platform, waiting for the train and having that thought in your head that you could have jumped, made me realize how many times I have been in your shoes, not wanting to jump, but not really enjoying life. So thank you very much for making me in touch with that part of me, which was so busy flying out of Mumbai every time I felt I needed to, every time I felt I needed to get in touch with me, I was flying out of Mumbai. And people were looking at me and asking me, you are in Mumbai or you're somewhere else? And I would be saying, I'm traveling. I wasn't in front of a train. I left trains long back. I decided consciously I was going to fly. But flying away, and flying away from what? Your story made me sit down and look at myself and said, stop flying, my dear. Not really, but you don't have to exit. You have to stand there and deal with the shit. Sorry for that word. You have to deal with the stuff that you can't deal with. There is nothing called running away. And on that day, when I was reading your story, I realized there's nothing called running away. I really thank Hemal for being here and supporting the group. So I didn't think I would be talking so much. And to be really honest, I didn't go back into any book, and I decided to speak from my heart. I love you all. Please stay in touch. I've created another family, and I've created I Am Every Woman, and each one's story touched my story. And we somewhere collided, and we somewhere had fun. And I'm actually feeling sad that this is coming to some kind of a completion. And I'm feeling happy that it's coming to some kind of a completion. And something new is starting for me and you. I love all of you. People who are missing here, I'm very visual. If you come in front of me, I'll probably be able to connect in 2 minutes and tell you back, but I'm not very auditory. I remember people by their faces. So thank you so much. I have nothing but gratitude, gratitude, and gratitude, and gratitude for each and every one of you. And people who are listening right now in India, I really wish we can all sit down together and carry Anya's and my dream ahead, and carry my, Anya's, and Claudia's dream ahead, carry every single woman's dream ahead from here. Thank you. Thank you.
Anu, amazing. We started 15 weeks ago, and you remember every single detail of every story. Is just mind-boggling, unbelievable. Does any of the authors would like to say something to Anu?
I will, Anu. I just, I so enjoyed being part of the writing of the book. And I learned a lot from it. But I know that when I was talking with you, you opened another angle on my story and made me see so much more of who I am now and what I have actually learned from my life and what the little ballet girl had taught me. And I would say that I have moved forward since that time. So I have to say thank you for asking me those questions that, you know, did a bit of this, you know, the difficult pointing, the difficult questions, the bit of poking, as we say. You ask the difficult questions and you make us think. I know we all had the sessions, the pre-sessions with you, but the actual session was never, it wasn't a duplicate, it wasn't a copy paste. But we all knew that there was going to be some questioning from you. And I just adore how you have extended all of our stories out. So thank you, and absolutely one day we will all meet, potentially maybe in Pondicherry. And it's been an absolute joy to be part of this as well. So thank you, Anya, for getting it set up. And I think actually giving I Am Every Woman a voice, because that is important. So I think there are other plans afoot maybe to try and get it into a verbal version. So,
wow, that
yeah.
would be brilliant. Thank you.
So
thank you.
Anu.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm also just, extremely grateful for all of the women that my co-authors in the book, and Claudia for bringing us together. And Anu, you added a dimension that we wouldn't have had otherwise. And I think, Christine, you said it very, very well. You said, you gave us a voice. So, we had written our story. It was a cathartic process of writing, and we're sharing it in a way where we can still hide maybe just a little bit if we want to. And then when we're put in front of you and you ask those questions, we just dig a little bit deeper and we share a little bit more. And I feel that I'm more comfortable sharing these stories, these paranormal things that I had seen before. I mean, it was the first time I wrote it and I put it out there. And then when I told my stories and shared them verbally, it empowered me, I think, to be able to share further and to share my voice. And you mentioned having met Claudia before. I think there, and in a couple of the stories, there are several coincidences, so to speak, of, you know, but there's a reason that we're all brought together. And we were brought together as authors of this book because of the pandemic, because of Claudia, who reached out to all of us, but also because we were ready and open to begin to share a little bit more about us, because we thought that we could help others. So we had intention setting sessions, but it was such a natural unfolding that, and there was never any tension or question or pulling, or it was meant to be. I think, you know, that it wasn't a coincidence, and it was the series of activities that brought us together. And I knew you are part of the group, and the way in which you reached into each of us and our hearts, I think is truly phenomenal. And you knew which questions to ask. And it was just a beautiful experience. And we've all grown so much from the entire year and a half of writing this. And it continues to be a journey, you know, and I think we shouldn't think that the book is done and it's over. You showed us that this is the next step. And I think we have to continue to stay together as a group, and we'll find that there's still another step. So another book, Anya, as you say, or, you know, another, you know, there are many opportunities and avenues of ways to take it. But whenever I see my fellow friends and co-authors smiling faces together again, I realize just how special it has been.
Thank you. So beautiful. My God, so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Justin.
Well, the other two ladies were so eloquent, but Anu just and Anya, but Anu, I just want to echo what Anya said as to how you remembered that is deeply touching, that you remembered each part of our story and how it made you feel. I mean, I'm totally in awe of that, and I'm also in awe of what a heart-centered person you are, and the amount of time and devotion you've given to this project. I mean, I remember when we had our interview, and you're doing them at 10 o'clock at night, if I remember rightly, and you'd had such a stressful day. I mean, I can't imagine your energy, you know, how you live in your heart, your memory, just everything is memorable to me, and I'm really proud to be part of it, and proud to know you and to have had the experience with you. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, really, and you've really touched me, as the other ladies have said as well. You've really touched me deeply, and I really do hope that at some point we do get to meet. But thank you very much, and thank you to Anya for bringing it all together, because that's no mean feat either, and chasing us up and getting us to do things. You've been brilliant. So I just wanted to thank you both from the bottom of my heart for all your effort and kindness and love, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anu, Julia says, Anu is so insightful and intuitive that she made me relook at my story and myself. Having spent hours writing my story, Anu got the crux and my soul essence within minutes.
Thank you.
I have another little one from Liliana. Hi, Anya. As I'm working, I will not connect. Here are my words, and can you thank Anu, please, for her wonderful work. Anu's sensitivity to the story allowed me to explore my story from a different perspective and level. It made me realize how deep some of the subjects still play at my emotions, showing how important it is to revisit our life stories from time to time. With Anu, I gained a fresh perspective. So amazing. Thank you. From
Thank
Liliana.
you. Thank you. And I'm telling myself I receive, because for the longest, my receiving has been very poor. And I'm again going to use Hindi and I'll translate it back. Hawa ka kya kasoor agar khirki darwaze hum nahi band kar liye, which means the wind is at no fault if I close the windows and the doors of receiving. So I receive that love because I haven't met her in person, but her story touched me so deeply and so deeply. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Does someone else want to say something?
Can I say something?
No, Sharon.
Ooh. Well, thank you so much. First of all, as Anya will know, Claudia will know, I was saying, I don't want to be interviewed by Anu. I don't want to, I'm not going to be out there. And you opened my eyes, Anu, to me as an Indian girl, where I feel such a, like a sense of identity. And you made me realize that India I have in my head does not exist anymore. And when you said, bring that India to us, I just loved it, because I've always been struggling. I've been struggling, you know, and I feel at peace about my own self now. So that was a real, I heard myself. I saw the interview again because I wanted to see what I was saying. And the angst that I had has lessened. It's still there a little bit, but it's lessened. So thank you very much. And I'm really glad that we connected and we spoke. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will wait to see your sari that your father got you.
Oh, yes. I should have worn it today.
Sharon, I wanted to comment that you actually didn't want to even write the story initially, so you have come a very long way.
I wrote the story, but I didn't then want it published. I might share the photograph of me in that sari at some point, but you know, not I might send it to Claudia. She can share it because she has sharing rights. So at some point. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, before we finish up, I feel terrible that this is the end, but it's not the end.
I want to say something.
Oh, Louisa, please.
It's
please.
all right.
Go ahead.
I was hoping nobody would notice me, and then I thought it wouldn't be fair to Anu because I do want to say something. As everybody knows, I'm the rogue goddess here. This is not my favorite part of the whole element, but I'm doing this for you, Anu. I'll do the Oscars. Thank you to all the goddesses. Thank you to Anya. Thank you to Claudia. Everybody, thank you. Fabulous experience. So that's done. When I did my interview, my first interview with you, both of us were left a little bit wanting because, which I think was my fault. Not that that is a question of fault, but you know what I mean. And as I thought about it more, it's like what my daughter sometimes says to me, Mummy, you mustn't minimize it and talk about it like if it's a third person. And I think by sort of just enumerating all the things, I made them as if they weren't important, as if they hadn't happened, or certainly didn't happen to me, they hadn't happened to somebody. So it made me think about that. It also made me think about the fact that if the purpose of the stories was to help, then I had to think about it more carefully. Because often we kind of think that domestic violence happens to people who are either not particularly educated or capable or poor or have no options, or it's cultural, but it's endemic in our society. It happens in nearly all patriarchal societies where there is violence in the form of financial control, emotional control, body control, physical control, coercive control that makes you do things. So it made me think, I really have to stop minimizing that bit. It's all very well having steps and saying, this is what I did to get out of it, but it happens. And therefore I needed to be a little bit more vulnerable towards how shit it is. Let's use that word as well. It is quite obvious that often women, so I read a very interesting fact, that a man will apply to a job when he's 60% qualified for the requirements. A woman won't apply till she's 96% qualified. I think often we ourselves feel we are not enough. I don't know where it comes from, whether it's just so subconscious everywhere that we are not enough. And I think it's time that we repeat to ourselves that just by being, we are enough, and that we remind ourselves we're all just winging it. Nobody knows what the flip they're doing. We're doing the best we can with the tools at our disposal at that moment. And you're fabulous, Anu. Thank you.
I just remembered something, Louisa. And that scene, or that sentence in your book, which says, I entered the new home and there weren't even enough utensils to cook for my children. It touched me deeply because even in that state, you were thinking of feeding your kids. And then we asked women, do they really know what love is? Then we women stand and say, we want to find what love is. As if what we were doing before that wasn't love. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Karin, Elodie, do you want to?
Elodie.
I'm sorry, I am feeling a little off road and like getting a cold. So, but yeah, I can't say more that everyone said it. Christine put it beautifully, Susan as well, Sharon and Louisa and Anya. So it was really a really amazing experience to have an interview with you, Anu. It was putting question in my mind and I never thought I will think about, and I really look at the situation both way and what I was gaining and what I was losing, and it was amazing. It was really nice. So I thank you so much for the passion and the time you take and the choice of the question you asked, because it was really got to the point. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing me to ask you questions. Thank you. I have a request before we go. The request is to Astrid. I would love to read your story and I would love to share it. Please help me here. I really feel that with your chapter, something needs to get completed in my story. And that's the second time, and I don't even know what that story is. So, like I said last time, take your time. We don't have to do it right now, when you're ready. Thank you.
Karin?
Well, I think I'm better in drawings than in words, but I would like to add that, you know, we only had 4,000 words for our stories. So as Susan said, we could nicely choose what we would like unveil and what would like to keep in the dark, because 5,000 words for a whole life story and dealing with challenges is not a lot. So, and by being interviewed with you, and seeing how you reacted on our story, as they said, you I think you very nicely found the blind stops that you probably tried to hide. And this was also very encouraging, because it also tells me that with 5,000 words, you can tell a lot, and it then depends on the reader what he or she unveils and what not, in addition to what we have written. So this was a great finding for me. So again, one thank you for having identified the blind spots that we haven't written about, but which obviously were obvious, at least to you, and maybe also to others, or other maybe did identify other spots. But there's a lot of interpretation, and I think this is good, so because we wrote about our own story, but we also wanted other people to reflect what we have experienced with their own story. So we have enough room in our story that any reader can find their own connection. So, and this became very obvious when you talked to me or to us.
Thank you so much. I just wanted everybody to see, I'm just going to put her in spotlight, and okay, so I'm going to pin your video. I want everybody to see the cups that she has created. Those are the cups that Claudia was talking about. Aren't they beautiful? And I don't think all of them was same shape. Could you throw a little light on that, please, for everybody? Thank you. Could you talk about the cups that you made for people?
I don't see any cups, but anyway, we were thinking about what kind of illustration we could have in the interior design. So we said, because it was all coffee mornings, and Claudia is a coffee addict. When we were together in Puducherry, and we couldn't start the day with her having a cup of coffee first. So the idea was very nice to have coffee mugs, and Christine had the very nice idea of filling the coffee mugs with words rather than with coffee. And so we said, okay, let's give authors a choice. So I created 6 different types of coffee mugs, and then every author could choose her preferred coffee mug, and she could also select the words she would like to have in her very own coffee mug. So it's a nice visual, let's say, executive summary about the essence of each story is in this cup.
So I have put your screensaver that you created with the cup right now. And put you in the spotlight so everybody could see. So guys, that cup that's right behind her is what she created for each story. And they were just beautiful with the words.
And this is one about the cups, yeah. Absolutely. This is more the classical coffee mug. We have some also modern coffee mugs, and yeah. So
thank you.
Welcome. Anu?
Yes. Yes, Anya.
We're coming to an end. I mean, this is not an end. It's a new beginning of a new chapter. Today is the 21st of October, correct? Or no, 20th today.
20th.
20th. So I would like to give us 1 year and 1 day, and we will publish Volume India next year on the 21st of October. So please put it in big on your wall or wherever. So 1 year and 15 authors from India to write the book. And Kanchan, you're going to start tomorrow morning, please. And then find more, and off we go. And all the authors.
This is a very efficient German pressure, you know. Without this efficient German pressure, you don't get a book done within 1 year.
Otherwise, it won't work. I'm sorry. That's why, you know, I inherit Africa and India. And one day it's like this, and one day it's like that, and then it's like this, and you know, so.
Trust me, as per Indian standards, the pressure is very little. We told you, given a date, write this article, finish it, send it to us.
And we have also thought about that if some authors would like, we can have one of our co-authors maybe hold hand to write the story. So just shout out to Anu or myself. And but before we finish, I know we have something for you. And Claudia will share her screen now. This is something, you know, we're in the Zoom world. So it's Zoom. And then you will have to do with it whatever you want to do with it. But let's see if Claudia finds the right button now.
I have the right button. I just want to, I would like to add my deep gratitude to Anya for making this happen, and to Anu, the queen of questions, as I call fondly Anu. The power of I'm Every Woman is in the collective. It's in the collective as we all individually embrace our own healing journey and our own greatness. And this present, which we are going to share with you, is coming from our creative director, Karen, on behalf of every woman, on behalf of every author, but also on behalf of every woman who already has been touched by the book. We have received many really amazing reviews on Amazon, individual meetings, individual emails, and it's very touching to know that I'm Every Woman continues to make waves and touches other people in their journey to wholeness. And here's our gift from our heart to your heart, from our soul to your soul, to the beautiful, precious woman called Anu, who opened our hearts one by one. Yeah, thank you, Anu, for being who you are, for sharing your gift, for allowing to touch every woman with a little bit more of the connection to who she truly is. Thank you.
I am so honored and so touched. I feel loved. I feel belonged. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for making me, for giving me so many hearts and making me part of I Am Every. Thank you. I'm humbled.
Anu, I will send it to you, then you can print it and make a huge poster out of it and hang it on your wall.
Wow.
Thank you very much to all of you, all the co-authors, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you. With a big heart.
Thank you very much.
I love you all.
For Karen,
Thank you.
beautiful, and thank you, Anu, again.
Thank
And
Bye, Anu.
Tan, good luck.
Thank you, Karen. That's so beautiful. And I want to say something just before we say bye, is to every Indian woman who's there in India or outside India. There is a way to express yourself. Don't hold it in, and don't, rather than don't, let's put it like this. It's when you catch not just your dream, but someone else's dream, and then you build on that dream. There is every possibility that together we can express something that maybe by ourselves we can't. So let's get together to create a book that leaves a meaning for our children and grandchildren and for ourselves, and something that they can go back to and look at and read and say, that's my grandma. She wrote that and she did that. And that would be nice. And if you don't have children and still want to write it, there are so many people, 8.25 billion people across the globe who could read that and say, maybe at least 2 of those might say that I feel touched by your story. So guys, please, let's not just sit down. Let's get inspired by these brilliant women who not only dared to write, but also to speak. I just feel very humbled. And I want to say thank you again to Anya, to Claudia, and to each and every one of you here for trusting and for making me part and making me feel loved and belonged. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So
I don't want to go.
Thank you.
I don't want to go.
Thank you.
Bye, darlings.
We
Have a
are
nice
every
evening.
women. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye bye.